Welcome to the Daily HiFi Podcast, everybody. We do this Mondays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What's up?
Yeah. With us today, we've got Tim.
Hey.
Tim,
What happened?
Joe, what's going on? I don't know. I'm just laughing.
All right. Hey, how are our levels? Because Tim is in charge of the live
I'm
audio
on
here, you know?
4K 120. I'm on.
We doing okay for levels?
Yeah, everything seems fine. Why?
All right.
Are we talking Avicii levels? What kind of levels are we talking about?
All right. Well, you guys let us know if if the audio
Sean
sounds
is too
good or not.
loud.
Because we're just setting up. As you can tell, this is not our normal spot, so we're ready about, like, I don't know, 30 seconds before.
I'll go. Yeah, I just drove in. I just drove in. What's up, Master Juan? What's going on? Oh yeah, my birthday was cray. Ike, how you doing? Sean's in the house. We've got Ben.
What's up, Ben? Ben, we met Ben. Yeah.
You met Ben where? At your event? At the event?
Yeah. I think he's the one who won the Monolith audition, the 5-channel system.
Yeah.
Winner. Chicken dinner.
Yeah.
We got Mike in the house. Who else? Reverend Slim's here. Larry, what's up, Larry? What's going on, buddy? Gotta love Larry. He always he likes every post I put on Threads. It's always boom, first person up there, Larry.
Support, right?
Yeah, the support. I love it.
Yeah,
Everyday Jay.
Larry too. Everybody's trying to figure out, is it Larry or some other name? Like, I don't. Why were people confused about his name?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
We got with Larry or the other name.
Why Brian?
I don't know.
Who's Brian?
Who's Brian?
I don't know Brian.
Larry.
I know Larry Spiegel.
Yeah. Congrats on the win, Ben. Angela says. All right.
Yes. He was excited. Ben was. Yeah.
Very good.
Sean says, Joe, I did want to go to the 2-day event, but overstuff blocks me from coming. Hopefully the next event is coming. Yeah, maybe. I think I might do another one. I had a good time. I think everybody else had a good time. Event ended at 4 yesterday, but I ended up going home at 8. So just because everybody wanted to hang out, everybody was still there. I'm like,
I heard you had donuts. I had somebody brought donuts.
Oh yeah, Clay brought some donuts. It was a good time. It was just good people.
Yeah.
You know, Clay was there the first day, and then he came back the next day. I'm like, oh yeah. So it's fun, especially for the folks who are patrons here. What do we call it? Members now. Members.
Yeah.
So members of Daily HiFi, like Scott, you know, just because we talk so often.
Tim brings some personality. Cool. This guy, Tim, bringing some personality to the show. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
What else? Mike says, Joe, do you still have some gear for sale? I want those SVS elevation speakers. I still have them. I still have a lot of stuff. So yeah, my shelves are clear here.
Yes, they are.
And I'm very happy about that, because that means I have more space to review more stuff. And
more stuff's on the way, right?
We'll just have to do the whole thing over again, you know?
Probably.
Yeah, maybe I'll bring some stuff. I got a storage unit. I got
empty. You know, how about a post birthday? Like, we missed your birthday.
Yeah.
Because you were out doing, what were you doing? What were you doing?
All kinds of stuff.
Aside from the Taco Bell stuff, what else did you do?
What else? So, I was learning some Atmos tricks from Nick Reeves, a Grammy-nominated Atmos mixing engineer. He did all of the spatial mixes for Bob Marley's catalog that you'll find on Tidal, he played a couple songs, and woo, some good stuff there. And August 26th to 27. Oh yeah, because Joe
not like I'm gonna remember that, right?
Yeah. Well,
so yeah, if 26th, 27th is free. I had a good time, so we'll see.
That's next weekend. I actually don't have anything going on.
I'm not gonna be here.
Tim's not be here.
Oh, we can't do it then. We can't. If Tim's not here. Yeah. Joe, you got to fly him out again.
Yeah.
Again, no, he didn't.
Maybe if we get some super chats and some new members, maybe we can afford to do something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not balling like that though. I mean, I am rich though.
Oh yeah,
I'm very rich, as you can tell. He's here at the house, and so, I mean, at the mansion.
Yes, it's a mansion. It's quite the
mansion.
Yeah,
it's a nice place.
AKA my garage.
I dig it. Joe's got a nice spot. Just on the spot. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, man.
Here.
But yeah. So what did you think of LA, Cali, SoCal? I don't know.
Okay, I came up with a couple things.
All right.
First, you have different trees here than Wisconsin.
Mhm.
Trees are just totally different. Even your what I would call pine trees are odd looking. And then also
those aren't pine trees are odd looking.
yours.
Are you sure they're not
I don't know what they are.
cell phone towers?
You got a few more of those probably.
Yeah, and those are like hidden ones. Yeah.
And then you got police officers on motorcycles.
That's not a thing over there.
Well,
They don't
we got
have that?
Maybe one in the whole city of Madison that patrols once in a while,
All
but
right.
not often. And then you got a whole bunch of Teslas. Whole bunch.
Well, how many were at the event? Just like, we had a small group of people, probably like 20 something, something like that.
Yeah.
And I think we had like a couple Teslas already
Yes,
there
yeah.
out of 20. So
Oh.
it's just all the driving.
Ben says he can bring his turntables.
Oh.
Oh. I don't use turntables anymore. Unless you got Serato, I could put some tracks on your laptop or something.
All right.
I don't know.
Make something happen.
Who knows?
But yeah, it was a good time, man. It was a good time. I showed Magic Beans. I explained how it worked, and I had these guys record it just in case somebody wanted to get funny and try to swoop up on the idea and stuff. Because the idea is this. I don't want to I don't know. Lately I've been kind of just hinting at what it can do, things like that. But I'd rather just explain how it works, be open about how everything works. And if somebody wanted to do it manually, they could, although it'll take them like 6 to 8 hours, where using the app would take them 20 minutes.
20 minutes, baby.
So, yeah, Chana, you did it, right?
Yep.
What's the difference between the first time we had to do it manually versus next time I'm like, just do it and call me after you're done?
Yeah, it was super easy. It's very straightforward.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Yeah. So I had them record me talking about it, so it's on record.
Have you looked at it yet?
The video?
Yeah.
I have not done it. I went home and I tried not to stand. I was walking around the whole time, moving stuff. It was kind of busy.
Yeah.
Like I was.
Yeah.
I
just bring it up because Scott was whipping out adapters and microphones and all these other stuff.
Oh, he came prepared.
He did come prepared.
That was funny.
Yes.
Reverend Slim says, "Plant the magic bean in your yard." Yes. What is Everyday J says Tesla is in the California car starter pack. Yep. Yeah, I think it's just that there's so much driving. Did you notice that you have to drive a lot?
We went through a whole tank of gas in about a week.
Okay, so with all that driving, it's kind of handy to have a car that
where you don't go
take gas
every day or every, and we didn't go far a couple days, but
right. So anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit more. I'm sure there are going to be some folks who were there at the event, and I'll talk about more stuff that happened. Kind of go back and forth.
Oh, stupid. All right, here. I'm trying to pull up some pictures here.
Oh, yeah. By the way, it's Scottio. You see? He says, "What up,
Scottio?"
Instead of, because it's Scott, right? And we always like say SC Audio. And he's like, no, it's supposed to be
Scottio. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, he just did a review to, what is it? Maybe today of the Monolith, the 5.1 system. Or I think the THX, those compact satellites that we all use and rave about. What was it called? Aaron also did a review today.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. I saw that on the while I was waiting at the airport. Oh, by the way, Joe, you know when I was talking to you last night?
Yeah.
I totally missed my flight, bro. Totally missed my flight to Reno. Like, it was one of those things where it's just like it was the perfect storm for me to not make the flight. All right. So I was sitting there at the gate, and the guy, the little megaphone thing, not megaphone, what is it, over the PA system or whatever, his stuff was broken. So he's like, hey, I'm just gonna have to shout at you guys. And then the screen was also broken. So there's no boarding, there's no this and that and the other. We just had to listen to this guy talking. And so, and I wasn't facing it because there were no seats. And so I talked to Sasha, and then I was like, oh, we're gonna board in like 10 minutes. Okay, talk to you later. Boom. Get on the phone with Joe, want to know what the event was all about. And then we start talking, and then I hang up and I'm like, 27 minutes. What time is it? 8:44. I'm like, oh, the plane leaves at 8:39. And I like ran over there, like, where's the Reno flight? And they're like, oh, it's gone. And I just got this sinking feeling. I was just like, oh, how did I miss that? And I'm like, oh yeah, if they were calling my name, the guy was just like, Mr. De Silva. Mr. Like he didn't have it on the intercom thing. And so like I totally missed it.
He's probably saying your name weird. He's like China,
China, all kinds of shit. You know, so I was just like, oh God, what am I gonna do? I ran over there and they're like, oh, this is our last flight, but we have one at 9 a.m. I'm like, okay, put me on that one. And there's nothing else to do. Go to hotel right by the I need the one time Chana needed audio. Yeah, exactly. Sweet irony. But hey, I can laugh about it now. I mean, it didn't cost me anything. It's just another night. Although Sasha was like, because I would have landed in Reno at 11 p.m. and then I would have gotten home at like 2 a.m. if I drove. She's like, maybe you should just stay the night in Reno and drive in the morning. So I ended up staying in LA, flying to Reno and driving in the afternoon. So
that's right, I do.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, you got your jungle juice. You ready to go, Joe?
That's right. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. All right. So for those of you that are interested, I went to Sweetwater. If you don't know what Sweetwater is, it's a big online. They have a huge online presence for professional audio equipment, along with instruments and all that kind of stuff. So so I went to Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's where they are. And I was going to go to this thing here. Oh, where is it? Present. Here we go. Boom. I was going to this place. Boom. Look at this. Look at this. Studio B. Look at this.
All right.
Yeah.
So what do we got here? Some wides.
We've got this. They have a 9.1.4. Oh, oddly enough, this guy, he's really about his optimal or ideal setup is a 914, he says. 914 to mix on. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So not 6 high channels, but 9. Let's see.
I know that's what I said though. Techno Dad.
Yeah, I know. That's what you said, ass.
Oh.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're all wrong.
All of them. Wrong. Maybe I should make a 2-hour video about it.
Yeah, I know.
How wrong he is.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So here's a quick. I can't play any music, obviously, but there's a guy, Nick Reeves, Grammy nominated Atmos mixing engineer. He's done a lot of spatial mixes for all the big. And then this guy here, he's the PMC representative. PMC are the speakers that were there, and he's like, hey, I'm not even going to talk about speakers. I think the speakers are banging. I don't know how they measure, but damn, it was legit, like shaking the crap out of the room. 4 subwoofers, and each of those things had dual 8s, and then another dual, like 4 8s below it, and then the subwoofers were 4 8s. It was pretty wild. You know what? One of the funniest things that's one of these, some of these people are saying, they're like, well, how I said Atmos, if you make it look like the renderer, your Atmos setup, it's going to be in line and you'll have the same coverage, in that square shape. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, nobody puts any sound into the corners. Who puts sound into the corners? This guy puts it. Look how many sounds are in the corners. Look all over this place. Look at that. Yeah, no sound in the corners.
Who puts sound in the corners? I mean, some of these guys have done some pretty legit stuff that you're telling me, right?
Yeah, no, he did some awesome stuff. And we listened to, like, these are the actual Atmos master files that he was playing from the previous mixes he's done. He's done all the Billie Eilish stuff, all the Phineas stuff. Here's a quick little look at that.
Very active.
So we got a little motion. Got a little motion. We got a little motion. Yeah. So they told me also not to like take so much video because
Don't
so
take
I just
so much video.
Well, they had the tracks. He did a mix from start to finish or from scratch from an empty project. So that track was an unreleased track, so we can't have any content about that.
I got it.
I see Reverend Slim says those Billie Eilish mixes are amazing. The one he just showed from the Barbie movie, what I'm made of or something like that. Oh, so good. So good. He played that for us. And oddly enough, he did the Atmos mix for that. And then they gave it to the movie people, and they didn't want to put it in the movie as Atmos when they played her song. Even though it's mixed in Atmos. Weird, huh?
Yeah. How didn't you say something about Bob Marley? I don't know.
Oh yeah. He did all Bob Marley's catalog, and dude, it was legit. It was legit, and I got to ask a few very important questions, and I was asking stuff that all the other people had they weren't even talking about it. Or one of them was like what to do with the LFE. How do you deal with the LFE?
Well, don't give out all your secrets.
I'm not saying beep.
Yeah.
Not saying. Okay, I had to pay through the nose to go to this thing.
Yeah.
And I also kind of like was like, hey man, my wife's already pissed at me because it's my birthday. And they're like, oh, it's your birthday today? I was like, yeah, so one of the things, because he's like, what do you guys want to get out of this? And I was like, well, I would really love, because I brought some Atmos master files of mine. If you can play this, just give me a critique, because I would love to get feedback to make my Atmos mixes better and and learn, And he's like, oh, maybe if we have some time at the end. We didn't have any time at the end. But he's like, oh, dude, just email me. I'd love to hear it. I was like, oh, cool. So, oh yeah.
So did you get a chance to talk to them about your spatial audio calibration toolkit at all?
And then at lunch,
did they find that useful at all, or
no? I mean, well, they wanted a little background on each of us, because everybody there was a mixing engineer that is getting into Atmos, and I saw some of the dudes like setups. Man, they're way better than mine. I mean, they spent a hell of a lot more money than I did. Yeah, so I kind of went into the little spiel, like, I'm not doing this, professionally to mix people's music. My colleague and I are creating a bunch of Atmos stuff. We actually created a spatial audio calibration toolkit in which, we made 160 Atmos files and developed them and put them on a Blu-ray disc and release them to our YouTube viewers and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm just kind of here to, pick up a few things and, learn some new shit. And then they're like, oh, okay. And I did find out, I asked them, I'm like, hey, do you ever listen to your mix on a consumer level product? And he said, oh yeah, I have a 712 configuration at home in my living room. And he's like, yeah, I run a Denon receiver and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll listen to that on my own system. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So hey, dude knows what he's doing. So I got some of his tricks I'm gonna put in some mixes. And yeah,
I thought you said, Chana, that these guys don't have a consumer level system.
Some don't. Most of the guys in the crowd don't.
I'm just saying. I know. Some people do.
Some people do. I mean, this guy definitely knows what he's doing, right? Okay. Right. And yeah, his approach.
How many took this class?
Huh?
How many people took this class?
Like 12.
Oh.
Very small,
actually.
Yeah, very small. Yeah, so I got to ask questions, and like he was just looking right at me. He was just answering my questions, and I realized I had to get in there because this one dude over here just was like, oh, I was like, he's all name dropping about these mixers and like, oh, I was like, oh man, I need to get in there and ask some questions other than make sure this trip was definitely worth it.
Yeah, of course.
Because Joe's like, oh man, you should come out to the thing. I'm like, no, let me do this first.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely worth it. 100% worth it. And I'll make a video. And then Sweetwater people are like, hey, are you going to be around for another day or two? Maybe we can shoot some content. Dude, their studios are fucking crazy. Like they just have studios and people can come rent the studio and record. So they have some big names coming through there this week that are just using the studio. Some people just use the studio and they bring in their own engineer, and they're just Sweetwater's just providing the studio space, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can afford to do all that stuff when people are coming in and using it. When it's just for you, it's kind of like, well, I'll make it good for me. But if it's for other people, it's a business, right? You get to spend money, reinvest. Exactly. Yeah, makes sense.
And even
splurge.
Even this guy Nick was like, when he has like when they have all the resources to do all that kind of stuff, it's pretty cool. They also had a Studio C, which is another Atmos mixing SoCal setup, which is also really nice. And then look at this, the subwoofers are so huge.
What?
I looked behind there and was like, oh crap.
I'm trying to figure out what their setup is though, right there.
This is another 914. This is another 914.
Those are wide.
So these two are just for stereo mixing because they also want it to be,
Hold on, what angles are those though?
I don't know.
Hold on a second.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to look at what angles they are. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look, even the guy, the PMC guy was like, there is no hard and fast rule. There's no certification for any of these rooms. There's just best practices from Dolby, and then that's it.
Well, this is interesting though, because if you look at it, they have the center, and then the two look like they might be about 30 degrees, or maybe 22.5, the ones that they use for stereo. But it looks like the ones to the left and right of those are, I don't know, they're a little bit wider. I don't know the exact angle
these look like
where they sit, but it's just interesting, and a lot of them seem to be using the front wides. Yeah,
there are a lot of them are using front wides. Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm kind of curious about how those sound.
Yeah. I told him, I was like, hey, if you guys want, we'll do a couple of days. I'll come back and actually film them. And he's like, I was in the SoCal room. They had different speakers as their left and right. And he's like, no photos here because these speakers aren't released yet.
Okay.
So I was
like,
was
it pretty fun though? Was it pretty fun? Like, as far as the state and, everything else.
Everything else. Oh, dude, I had a blast. It was my birthday. I got totally liquored up, went and made a whole bunch of new friends, and got into some shenanigans. Some late night shenanigans, which you guys in the after show Facebook group.
Exclusive.
You guys, and I'm in the airport. I'm just dying laughing. I'm just like, oh my God, did this really happen? Because I don't remember. Like, soon as midnight hit, I don't remember going to the other bar. There was like a concert, and I don't remember any, but I do remember. But I pieced together what's on my camera roll and my Uber receipts. So I did go to this other spot. But
so you have to be part of the Daily HiFi Crew though, to see that sort of craziness.
All that good stuff. All that good.
I don't know if you want to do that. It's you've been warned.
Yeah, but here, check this out. So I looked it up. Excuse me. PMC. Again, I would have loved to measure the room, but the PMC guy said that they run tuning on the room. So and he says the speakers take really, really well to EQ. So I was just like, oh, okay.
Well, I was gonna say maybe next time, whenever they have it, maybe I'll roll with you, and then I'll keep you out of trouble.
Yeah.
So it'll be a good balance. You know what I mean?
So I also talked to the PMC marketing guy. And I was just like, oh, well, maybe when I move to a bigger place and I can actually put, some equipment in for like a proper setup, maybe we can work on like a little trade. I'm like, I'm not asking for a huge, 100% off, but we can, trade some content for like a little discount, because this setup is it's pretty expensive.
Dang.
It's a little expensive.
Yeah.
But hey, it's a pretty legit.
Well, it better be.
Yeah, right.
I better measure perfectly.
Yeah,
I don't want to see any issues.
That's I don't know. We'll see. I'll see.
So, let's see here. I can share some photos from my event. So of course I asked everybody, is it cool if I share first, right? So everybody's like, okay with that. So let's see what we have here.
Who's that seated down?
Who's that seated down?
Mm-hmm.
1 second.
In the money spot there. Are these the towers? Are these the
Yeah,
ELAC towers?
So it's funny because I was showing the ELAC towers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had it connected to this NAD T778 running Dirac with a Magic Beans target curve and an RSL Speed Woofer 10S here in the corner.
Yep.
So yeah, look at this guy back here. He's you see him?
Oh yeah. That's Mr.
That's
Brown
legendary Brown Note right there, and he's wearing the original Hi-Fi Summit shirt, and he's holding the spatial.
And he's holding the disc. Yeah,
that's hilarious. But over here, this is, you know who this is, Shauna?
That's Chris Walker.
That's Chris Walker
from ELAC.
Hilarious because he started showing demo tracks, and I'm like, Chris, you're not working right now. Just why don't you sit down and I'll show you some tracks. But he is actually showing us some crazy tracks with some ridiculous bass. And remember how you were saying that those speakers that they had over there at Audio Advice like sounded like crazy?
Yeah.
Those were the Solanos, ELAC Solanos.
Solanos, okay.
So yeah, this was fun just because, you know, I was showing Chris Walker from ELAC his ELAC speakers, and actually I said, you know, do you like DSP? Because I'm going to show you the difference with them on or off.
Right.
And I think he said he said DSP on sounded better, even though he's not so much of a believer in it or doesn't prefer it, something like that. But I think it's undeniable that it sounded better. Don't you?
It definitely did. Both rooms, both rooms that you did it.
Yeah. So here we got Scottio. This dude, look at this dude's got giant hands, by the way. He's got mitts.
Yeah, he's got mitts.
Yeah. So there's Chris Walker, Clay. So Clay in the Hawaiian shirt, he was awesome.
Mike Simpson says that's me. Where was that? Was that in the first picture?
Yeah, there he is. Let's see here. Yeah, so we're just all hanging out. I can't remember everybody's names, so I apologize in advance. But you know, this guy right here, he brought some HSU shoe speakers. They were huge, but concentric, and they sounded pretty good. I like those. And he also brought these THX Monolith. What are these? Tim?
365Cs.
365Cs back there.
He had 3 of them, and then he was using them as left, center, right, vertically, I think.
So we had this other small room. I was showing these funny little Larson speakers. Yeah, we're just all hanging out, talking. Yeah. There he is, legendary Brown Note. This was the next day. Yep. More talking. We have this guy. He's from Harman, so that was kind of cool.
Oh,
he works at Harman. He brought the JBL 4305.
Oh yeah, I heard those. The little ones, right?
Yeah, they're very good, but they're small speakers. So we did a comparison between those speakers and the $178, I don't know, $180 Monolith T5 towers, Audition T5 towers. So they're least expensive T5 towers, and out of the box with no EQ. I mean, it was a joke, like, to compare the two.
Oh, right.
But after EQ, after some Magic Beans, they started getting closer, except for the towers just had way more bass, as you might expect. You know, so it was kind of not fair. You know, if somebody were to come in, they'd probably choose the one with more bass just because it had more bass. You know, but the top end started getting closer, you know, in tonality. Of course, the JBL is still better. It's just it's a better speaker, you know, nice waveguide. Everything about it is just better. But they're also using DSP. But it was just interesting to kind of go back and forth between them and hear that an inexpensive speaker like that didn't sound even close without DSP could sound closer. You know, I think you have to,
within the realms of you know, off axis and all that kind of stuff. You know, on axis maybe they're very similar, but off axis you know, you have maybe like a more controlled with the waveguide, and then just the tweeter on the Monolith, it's just a little bit, you know, maybe wider or something.
It's just the other one was just a better speaker. You can't deny that when it comes to the directivity. There's no amount of DSP that's going to change that. right? That's going to fix the off-axis response relative to on-axis, things like that. But I mean, tonally, they were getting very close, which I thought was cool. And we actually had to cross over the T5 towers at 100 hertz to make it sound even similar. That's what's kind of crazy. Yeah. But otherwise, the other one just had way more bass. So what did he say? He said the JBLs. So Ben says those JBLs had a similar sound signature to the JBL 305 studio monitors. Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's a better speaker overall though.
Yeah, you got
it's $2,000 bucks.
Yeah, you got compression driver in the 4305s, where the 305s are just a dome tweeter on a waveguide. So definitely step up in the technology.
Yeah, so those Shure speakers were the Shure CC8s, and he offered for me to review them, and I just cleared out all the space. You know what I mean? And I've asked Dr. Shure himself if I could review speakers, and he wasn't interested. So I don't really want to go out of my way if he's not interested.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
He just doesn't want, maybe he's old school with that. So I don't know. Maybe he changed his stance on that, but maybe I can call him up again and see what the deal is. Anyway,
yeah,
that was the event. I showed the Magic Beans comparison, with the least expensive speakers that I had, which are those Monolith Audition T5 towers. Oh, I don't know if I had the picture, but was it Ben? Yeah, I think it was Ben who won them. I have a picture of him. He's holding up the tower like a trophy. I'll try to find that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I would say I think everybody could agree that Magic Beans
was the shit.
I didn't hear anybody really say like, it sounds worse.
Everybody said it sounded better, right?
Maybe Larry. I think maybe Larry said that he preferred it without. So,
And lots of people were saying they preferred Dirac over Audyssey itself.
That was almost like across the board.
They like Dirac over Audyssey?
No, direct.
Like no EQ versus Audyssey. Yeah. People
really
preferred no EQ, which is hilarious.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, not surprising because we actually showed the graphs also. So I mean, it was just not as smooth with Audyssey on. So that's interesting.
Just going up and down.
And then the guy from Harman, Justin from Harman, Justin Zazzy. So he was showing, we're comparing, and he was playing some pink noise, and it wasn't matching the pink noise that I was playing out of REW.
You guys, wait. Were you guys having a pink noise battle?
For real though?
Yes.
How nerdy is that? If we were straight nerding out. We're like, hold on, measure it again. Measure it with your pink noise. Measure it with this pink noise, and then of course the pink noise was different. I was right, But so I thought it was super nerdy. It was just him and I kind of talking. And then I turn around and all these people are still watching, like all interested. I'm like, you guys are all nerds too.
All nerds, bro.
I thought it was just us, but I guess everybody was interested.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't turn anybody away at that point.
I know.
Everybody was like huddling around the couch.
I know.
Like, oh, ooh, ah.
Yeah, let's see. I'll try to find the video here. Anyway, what else? Any questions in the chat? No?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm just looking for stuff now. Now I'm shopping. Now I'm shopping for.
You're shopping speakers as we speak, like right now.
Shopping as
Why don't we shop together then?
Okay, here we go.
Might as well.
All right, here we go. I typed in 7.1.4. Oh, SoCal. What do you think, Joe?
Bro, haven't you learned by now? Haven't you learned?
22,000.
Forget we got to look at the measurements. Who cares if it's SoCal?
Hey, yeah, I know which one you can get behind.
Like
Joe, I know what you can get behind. You can get behind. Come on, back here. This you can get behind this.
Well, of course,
these ones.
But that's not expensive enough. See, I know you want to go expensive. Like this will probably measure better than a lot of the other ones, but you want to go expensive.
You can get down with this though, right, Joe?
Yeah, I think they have some really expensive ones. If you go on Cali Audio's website, they have a new speaker that's super expensive. So
does it measure well though?
It's expensive. That's all that matters.
Hey, look at this. If anybody's looking for wall mounts for their
Uh-huh.
speakers, you might want to check out these kinds of things. I mean, they're $200 a piece, so and they're made for studio monitors, but they'll probably handle a bookshelf speaker, no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know you can get behind this one.
Well, yeah, that's an easy recommendation, but
right?
I understand who you are too. I know it's not all about like measurements. Sometimes you just want that name too. I get it.
Oh, how about Genelec?
Oh, there we go. Boom. There it is.
Done.
That is there. That's the one
right there.
51.
All Genelec.
There's a cheaper one at 20,000.
Forget the rest. Just go.
Oh,
Genelec.
you think I should just go Genelec?
Of course.
Yeah, really?
Of course. Which one do you like better, Genelec or Neumann? You can choose between the two.
Why is there a Neumann here?
I don't know, but Neumann also measures crazy good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. 200 for hardwood, damn. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of these weird looking speakers though. But maybe I can be convinced.
Yeah, man. I mean, when I see those in the background of somebody's studio, I know they know what's up. I'm like, oh, this guy, he's legit.
Shit.
He is legit. I don't know about these other guys. If you have SoCal in the background, I'm like, this dude, he just likes to buy expensive stuff. He thinks I'm supposed to be impressed with.
Oh, hey, we got a new member.
Hey,
Goochman 562. Thank you so much for becoming a member. You're doing a lot to help us out, like paying Tim to edit. So thank you. Tim loves you.
Thank you.
Do we have some? Do you have some videos? Because you're on vacation, so he's like, I don't have any videos right now.
I almost didn't get to sleep because I was editing videos before like taking off. Man, that's dedication, my man Tim. Thank you.
Yes.
We appreciate you. You and Darla are awesome. I ended up hanging out with them at LA. They came to see me at LAX, so I had a 3-hour layover in LAX. And I mean, I've hung out with Joe plenty of times. I don't need to see Joe anymore. Yeah. So
cares about that guy.
But Tim and Darla were so nice. They came and we hung out for like an hour, right?
Yeah.
Over at baggage claim. I'm like, maybe we can get something to eat, but you couldn't get to any restaurant unless you pass through security. And the LAX, they're like, you can't go through security unless you have a flight and all the boarding pass and all that. So which reminds me of that scene in Bad Boys. It's like, you forgot your boarding pass. Right? Do you remember that, Martin Lawrence? Anyway.
So how does Shauna act in person?
Exactly how he acts on the podcast. Maybe even more so in the after show.
More after show.
More after show than the podcast itself.
And how about me?
You're genuine. You're as you are.
Genuine.
What you see is what you get. So like, I don't act this way, and then off camera, I'm like, hey man.
Yeah.
Abusive and stuff.
He was
abusive. What does that even mean, dude? Abusive.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
mean, I know some people probably.
That's what I try to do.
Probably think I'm putting on an act, but I don't know. This is just this is me unfiltered.
Sometimes the hardest thing to do on camera is to be normal, actually, because once you turn that thing on, I'm like, oh, this is weird. Who am I talking to? I don't know. Anyway,
what made it easy for me was me trying to do that daily vlog. I tried to do daily vlog like Casey Neistat. My goal was 1 week, and I ended up doing a daily vlog for 49 days in a row. And so 7 weeks. And that is what allowed me to be as comfortable on camera as I am, because I got so used to just talking to a lens. Like I was just talking to somebody.
Who do you think you're talking to, though?
I know myself. I'm just talking.
Just talking.
I mean, I totally admit that I'm a chatty Cathy anyway. So, if there's nobody talking back to me, it's even better. I just be like, oh yeah, let's talk to this thing right here.
Fewer interruptions, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Too much. But yeah, it was great hanging out with you, Tim.
Thank you.
Yeah, you and Darla are awesome.
Equally so.
Yeah.
And Tim showed us what's up with like good cheese. He sent over some of that. Wisconsin cheese.
Oh yeah,
like 5-year-old cheese.
5-year-old header.
Some 5-year-old cheese, and then I brought a grill. Darla made a grilled cheese
sandwich. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. It's a little bit different.
Yeah,
See,
I got to hang out with me.
Now, what's that?
I got to hang out with me for a couple of days. Nah, child, you just don't give a shit. Like, well, yeah, there's that too. That's that too.
Let's see. Oh, I found that picture, by the way.
Okay, let's see it.
Let's see. There he is.
There's Ben.
Hey, winner!
Holding it like a trophy.
He won.
So that was awesome.
Is that Scott in the background? I'm taking the Larson.
Yeah.
Trying to run off with the speaker.
Look at his little.
Sus.
That's sus right
He's
there.
like, I'm taking this.
He's got the lingo
now. Oh man,
they all stayed around to help clean up and put things in one room, so he didn't have Joe didn't.
Oh,
have
dude, that was so awesome. I didn't even have to ask. Everybody like, hey, should we help clean up? You know, like, where do you want this stuff? It took me hours to set everything up over a couple of days, and the teardown was like 20 minutes. Like, everybody boom, boom, boom. So that was cool. Here's a little video that I guess you sent me. You were taking a video of when I was talking to Justin. We were kind of going back and forth because we're both know-it-all kind of dudes, you know. We think we know something, and Justin actually does know something. And we're just debating. I thought I was like kind of talking to him, you know. Next thing I knew, I look back and these dudes are actually like interested in what we're saying. So, can you see this? Yeah, you're seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about here? We're talking about binaural level matching, and it was kind of odd because it turned into like a class.
Yeah,
you know, at a certain point, I felt like it was like a classroom environment.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, we're starting showing stuff here on the projector system. So it was interesting because it just turned into different. I don't know. It was like an event within an event. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like various events where one moment we're talking about magic beans, another moment we're talking about something random. Who knows? You know? Yeah. So it was really cool. I think we should just do it again. Yeah. Maybe in 2 weeks or so.
2 weeks.
Oh, Larry says that was chatting about the 2 kilohertz questions. Yes, we're talking about 2 kilohertz and what that means with regards to the head-related transfer function and spatial audio, what it means with regards to using a phantom center. And so we started playing pink noise out of the left and right speaker and moving our head to see if we can hear a difference. You know, just stuff like that. Anyway, any questions in here? You guys have any questions? Starred? What do we have? Oh, we got the new member. Oh, Darla says proud to be a cheesehead. You want to say anything?
Oh, Darla's in the house. What up, Darla?
We almost got your kids some cheeseheads.
Oh my
God. Oh, some actual.
But I didn't know if they'd be offended by wearing cheese on their head.
It showed a picture and they're like
the 5 and 6 year old are they get offended easily.
I don't think they're gonna get offended by it.
I think they would have loved that shit. It would have been like running around with the shit on their head. Yeah. Like I get to do this? Yeah.
All day. Of course they do.
Hell yeah.
Dude, we even started like listening to car audio systems. Right?
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Listening to car, we went outside and everybody's like, oh, check out my car audio system. And of course, everybody has a system, some kind of system, you know?
Yep.
So just a good group of folks, you know what I mean? It's very easy when you have good people. Yeah. Just everybody gets along. That's it. Oh man, Reverend Slim took it dark. All right. You guys have any questions for us? Any questions for Tim while he's here?
Oh no.
What's up, Tim?
Don't put me on the spot.
You don't want to be on the spot?
No.
Why?
No, I
haven't.
You're with me, man.
Yep.
Everything will be okay.
Dude, that chicken was mad
spicy. Yeah, we went to get some food afterwards, and then they have the different levels, like no spicy, mild, medium, and then like super hot. And Scott chose like one of the hottest ones. I don't know if he was trying to show off or what.
Oh, dude.
But after a while, he's like, you look at him, he looks shiny.
I chose mild.
It was glistening. He was
Yeah,
glistening. It was a little too much. That's funny.
Oh,
That's
dude.
funny.
What he said? I had a bad case of the hot snakes. Oh, okay. All right. So any questions about home audio, home theater? I'm trying to think of what else that we can talk about that was related. I think what was interesting is that we had one large space that you could see from the photos, and then we had these other smaller rooms. Right? And it was just very obvious how much the room affects the bass. Like that was like an unintended thing. But in the smaller room, we used the RSL Speedwoofer 10S. And in the larger room, we had the SB3000, SVS SB3000. The SB3000 is 13 inch, I think 12. They say 13, but whatever.
Right.
We'll say 13.
It's 12. I mean, come on.
Okay. And then much more powerful, I think 800 watt amp, something like that. And the RSL, I don't know. I don't know the exact specs on it, but it's a 10-inch sub and ported, but small, inexpensive sub. The other one's about 2.5 times more expensive, I would say. And the bass in the smaller room with the less expensive RSL sub sounded way crazier. Like it sounded crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Because the room was smaller.
Oh, right.
Just because of that. If we would have switched subs, it would have sounded equally as crazy. But it just goes to show you can't really judge, a sub, just by itself in a room. You know what I mean? You have to take into account how large the room is, where you're sitting within the room. Because even in the big room, if I sat in the corner, then it sounded really bassy. Like where you guys were sitting.
Yeah, I think where we placed the couch, it was a little bit of a null.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and then you move 4 or 5 feet back, and it was a little bit more bassy. And of course, you go in the opposite corner, and it was really bassy.
Yeah. But it was tricky. I didn't want the couch to be in the way of stuff, and the surround speakers, didn't have a long enough cable. We're there to just mess around. It wasn't like a professional thing that we're trying to do. But what are the questions here? I sent a question about rel subs. Shauna, you want to go in on that? I'll just.
Where's the?
It was just. I think it was like, what do you think about the rel subs?
I sent in a question about the rel sub. Who was that? Bodie?
Yep.
There it is.
Once you get some, I've had a few of them in here. The 10-inch, the 15-inch, and once you get some DSP into those things, they rock. I mean, even without the DSP, they rock. They just don't go that low, right? If this was a limbo contest, the SVS, totally winning. But they look kind of nice, so there's that. What do you want? What do you want, Billy P? Do you want performance? Do you want looks? How much do you want to spend?
I have a question.
Kinds of things. Yes, you in the front with the hat.
All right. I have a question about the rel subs. And they about them being more musical and faster because they don't utilize DSP. Did you notice that difference in sound quality? Did it sound more musical versus
I'll tell you this.
subs?
They were fast when I was driving them from storage unit to house. But other than that, I don't think fast is a good way to describe a subwoofer. But I couldn't tell a difference. I couldn't tell a difference. Once we had DSP, I was like, oh, it goes lower. Yes, you in the front with the hat.
I have another question. So as far as DSPing the not the RSL, the rel subwoofer, after DSP, because they're not really big fans of DSP, but after you applied DSP, did it still retain its musical qualities and was it still fast? Thank you.
I definitely thought they were very musical, and even after DSP, the musicality of the subwoofers just went up like 5 notches. I heard angels in the low frequencies, and sometimes when I hid a secret message at 200 hertz, I got to hear that too.
Oh wow! Thank you.
You're very welcome. We got a super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, Joe. How do you think the Monolith THX10 compares to the RSL Speedwoofer 12?
Ooh. All right. That's a very good comparison because I think the price range is around there. The power is very similar. So let's just talk about the differences. It's easier to talk about the differences. So difference would be the Monolith THX 10 uses an HDF, wood. So it's heavy. Like even the grill is heavy. Everything about it is heavy. So what does that mean? I don't know. I don't know that it makes a ton of difference. If they would have went with MDF, would have made a huge difference. I don't know. Size-wise, the RSL Speedwoofer 12 is larger, and it obviously has a 12 versus a 10-inch woofer. And I would say it does have more output, just the fact that it has a 12 and it has a larger enclosure. So yeah, they both hit deep. They're both utilizing DSP to be able to play down to 16 hertz. But when it comes to playing louder without distortion, I mean, you just can't beat a larger subwoofer. But both very capable, and I think it would just really come down to whether if you have other Monolith stuff and if you're loyal to that brand, and if you can fit the RSL Speedwoofer 12. What else? What are some other factors? The Speedwoofer has some cool other features, like it has a remote, has that kind of like this LED readout in the front that shows you the levels. Other than that, yeah, I think personally, if they're the exact same price, I would, if you could fit it, I would probably go with the RSL Speedwoofer 12 for just the performance. But now, if you talk about a Monolith THX 12 and then the RSL 12, now it starts getting tricky. I would have to really see some CTA 2010 measurements to see what the output difference is between them. But I mean, they're both very, very capable. You have the THX 16. Jeez, how many of those do you have?
2.
Oh my, you're ridiculous.
2. Heavy, first of all.
Heavy. They're using the HDF also?
Yes, HDF all the way. And I like the finish on them. They have that matte finish that some of the other Monoliths don't have. And then just the power wise, I mean, I think they're 2,000 watts. I'm running everything off of a 15 amp breaker, so I don't know how I'm getting 2,000 watts out of a sub like that. But I appreciate their sound.
How ridiculous is it? Like, have you done anything a little crazy and like try them out and see what they can do?
I haven't pushed them to the extremes.
Do they scare you? Like, I feel like
oh yeah, because I got them mounted behind the couch, both of them, right now. So it rumbles the couch. It you have a Harmony remote. I have a Harmony remote.
All right.
And every time it shakes the couch, the Harmony remote lights up because it's bouncing.
Yeah, so. THX stuff, Monolith THX stuff is legit.
Yep.
But what I like about both of those companies is that they're both direct to consumer, so you get a lot of value either way. They're sending directly to you guys. You can't really go wrong with either of those. Pick the one you like the look of better. I don't know. Anyway, what else we got? Hopefully that answers your question. Thank you for the super chat as well.
Damn, this Genelix sub is a 15-inch sub. Holy shit.
Oh, you're looking at one that looks like a, what does that look like to you?
Like a little
like a fan?
Yeah, it looks like a fan.
Looks like a fan.
As it was like, it goes down to 16 hertz. I'm like, 16 hertz? It's pretty low.
Let's see. So with DSP for you, Chana, DSP, Scruff Kingman says,
well,
so
no, yeah, we've been talking about it, bro.
Yeah. Oh,
he's like, here, here, hold on. You got to start the convo up here. Here, is it milk chocolatey or dark chocolatey? And I said, I'd say it's more milk chocolatey. Okay. And he says, now more like Hershey or Ghirardelli. And I said, Ghirardelli. Definitely. Right.
My shop.
Let's see here. Somebody asked about, okay, AA. Joe did. Oh, he says Joe did a great review of the RSL 12S. How would 2 do in a mid-sized room? Depends on what your definition of mid-size is, because I think THX's definition of mid-size would be the size of my garage. I think they'd say is mid-sized. I don't know.
Larger on the
3,000.
Yeah.
3,000 square feet, about cubic feet. 3,000 cubic feet.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would you say? by 20 by 9. And I think 2 of them would do pretty well. You know, a lot of it's to do with place as well, though, right? So you can have 2 B subs, put them in a place that's not so good, or if your main listening position is in a null, it may not sound crazy right there, but definitely they're capable of, you know, rocking the main listening position if you have them placed correctly, and if your main listening position is set up correctly, and if you have it tuned well, you know, blended well with your other speakers too. Yeah, I think you could do pretty well. What else we got here? Scruff Kingman says, does HDF have less resonance than MDF? Well, theoretically, you know, the stiffer the cabinet, it pushes the resonance, the, you know, frequency higher, you know. So hopefully outside of the band where it would even matter, you know, if you're going to cross over a sub at what, 80, 120. So if the resonance is super high, then who cares, right? You're not playing it at those frequencies. Although, of course, it could maybe resonate at lower frequencies, but I don't think it's anything to worry about, you know? Anybody have any MDF subwoofers like from SVS or any of the other guys who don't use HDF have any issues where the sub is, well with the cabinet making noise? Not often. Usually people complain about port chuffing.
Yeah.
Or mostly port chuffing or hearing the actual driver.
Yeah.
Anyway. Have any of you been to the Westwood Village THX Cinema?
Have not.
No. Nope. What else? What else we got here? We're probably going to cut this one a little bit shorter than normal, just because I'm sure the guys in the after show want to talk. But if you do have any questions, you know, go ahead and ask.
Ask away.
Ask away.
Ask away.
In the meantime, just a reminder that you can listen to the audio-only version of this podcast at anchor.fm/Daily HiFi. We have merch at shop.dailyhifi.com, which is a way easier address to remember compared to Chana's favorite. If you want to become a member, bit.ly/Daily HiFi Crew. Now we got to do something about that.
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
One of these days. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. So Paul, of course, Paul knows everything. You have a question?
Show
doesn't
off.
matter. Doesn't matter the topic. You know, in the after show, I'm asking about coolers. You know, it doesn't matter. You have a question, Paul or Dugan.
Paul's got the answer.
Yeah, one of these guys will know the answer. So HDF is more dense than MDF at a price of weight. But if you build an HDF cabinet with no reinforcement, it can resonate just as easily. A properly built MDF will have the same resonant properties. So it's more about the build, he's saying. I mean, I don't know. I think it was, I don't know if that it was a great move to use HDF, but it was definitely a talking point. Like, oh man, these subs are heavy. And for a lot of people, heavy means quality, you know?
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
Heavy is reliable.
Yes, heavy.
If it doesn't work, you can hit them with it. What movie? What movie is that? No.
Aaron's not here.
If
Aaron were here,
it was Boris the Blade trying to sell that the gun to Tommy. And what's that movie called? Snatch.
I'm sure somebody. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Probably watch that too.
Yeah, you probably have.
Where's that other question here? So No Nothing says, Joe, did you ever figure out what caused the 2K bump on the upfiring Pioneer speakers? I'm thinking about buying the ELAC upfiring speakers, and they have the same bump. It's actually not a bump. The 2K dip. It's a notch filter at 2K. And my theory is that they did it on purpose because 2 kilohertz is about the frequency that's equal to the distance between your ears, right? So, every frequency length is related to a certain distance, happens to be the distance between our ears typically. And to me, that indicates that it's probably a good frequency to tell the directionality or where something is coming from. So if you turn your head, the sound might change or go away, and that will let you know, oh, sound's coming from over there. Well, that's not what you want when it comes to upfiring speakers. The idea is for you to not hear where the sound is actually coming from. The idea is for you to be tricked into thinking that the sound is bouncing off of the ceiling, and that point where it's bouncing is actually the source. So I think using that 2 kilohertz dip is actually a really smart move, and something that I've only really seen on these on that old Pioneer and the ELAC speakers, all designed by Andrew Jones. So maybe he knows a few things.
Knows something.
Yeah. I did do an experiment where I EQ'd that and put the 2 kilohertz back up, and it didn't sound as good. Like, it sounded a little weird. Like, I could tell the sound was coming from the upfiring speaker. So I think it definitely makes a difference. What else we got here? Okay. What's this one? Marv, thinking of buying a pair of RSL Speedwoofer 10s for $550 near my area. Very enticing to add them to my pair of PB 2000s. I think that would be a pretty good match. Probably the PB 2000s would hit a little bit lower, so you'd have to use something like multi-sub optimizer to kind of blend them together. But
those 10Ss are regularly $450.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a pair for $550, I think, is a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Yeah, No Nothing also says, he thinks that Andrew Jones did that notch on purpose.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Reverend Slim saying the dip seems intentional, and my theory makes sense. So No Nothing says it's interesting, and it makes him wonder if the other upfiring speakers do that same thing. And I don't know that they do. I don't think it's part of the Dolby spec. I could be totally wrong on that, but I'm kind of curious to see now. I'm kind of curious if anybody, and maybe I'll ask, for another upfiring speaker from a different company and see if it has that 2K dip. Anyway, so we're up at 1 hour and 3 minutes. I don't want to keep Tim here too long. If it were up to me, I can talk all day like Chana.
That's right.
So if Chana's not talking, then it's fine. I'll just talk to myself all day without interruption. And then if I'm quiet, then Chana will talk.
Yeah, I'll switch.
But are you seriously shopping right now? You got those eyes of somebody shopping. I know.
Yeah, I got to figure some things out. So
look at him. Look at this. Look at the silly smile right there. That's a
so so I would need 11 of these. 11. Yeah, 11. But they only have one XLR input. And the way I'm running my system now, I need 2. So I found this over here. Where is it? Where'd it go? This thing. So I can put, so this has 32 inputs. So 16 from the audio interface, and then 16 from the Marantz, and then 16 outputs to go to each speaker. And that's just the paltry 1600. So, 16. There's a lot of 16s right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I would need something like that to keep the integrity of the system, where I can actually use I can mix on the mixing one, and then switch over to consumer, and I can get stands for all of these things too. All this Genelecs, but I don't know. Buy some more discs, guys. buy some more discs.
Yeah, man. So, anything else? Anything else you want to talk about, Tim, before we go?
I think it was a great event, first of all, that we had 10, 20 people each day, and I think people learned things. I think people were challenged by things, including you, pink noise, whatever the case might have been, and all this stuff. And
I don't even know those challenges. You know, sometimes people have questions, and I welcome the questions.
Right.
You know, I love the questions because I talked to Sean about it, and it really makes my I guess my pitch about Magic Beans. It makes, you said bulletproof. And
if somebody's going to go in and be like, okay, well, what about this? And you're like, oh, you know what? I didn't. It's really just getting like another set of eyes on it, right? Like, you can plan. Like when we were making the disc, you know, we got this guy Jeremy over here. Well, I would really like a section where I have to make Chana do like 20,000 hours extra of work. So that's one of the like favorite that section, Jeremy. High five, bro. That's one of the sections people like the most.
Yeah.
So
it's about listening, right? Sometimes you got to just humble yourself to be willing to listen and possibly be wrong. See, that's the risky part is you have the possibility of being wrong. But what people just aren't aware of, I don't know if everybody does this, but I welcome it. I'm like, please show me how I'm wrong. Like, I would love for somebody to show me how I'm wrong, because that means I can fix something, or I missed something. I can make something better.
Right. It's something that's overlooked. Like I wouldn't have thought of that at all.
And he's not just playing lip service here, because he was saying that to Chris Walker and Justin and everybody else that was there. It's just like, hey, show me where I'm wrong. Show me why this philosophy doesn't work. So
and they did have legitimate questions.
Yep.
And it's good because I have the answers to those questions. Why? Because I had those same questions. You know, that's the thing. You have to be the hardest on yourself. You know, a lot of times, just like, you know, of course I want to give you guys a product that's awesome, right? And that means beating out all the bad things, you know, so that you guys don't have to try it out and say, oh, this is a problem, and then I'll go and fix it. No, I'd rather deliver it as good as possible, you know. So that's why it took me a while to do. Yeah. As far as like, you already knew the method. You have it on you've had it on your system for a while. So you know what it could do. I'm just trying to think of you know, what was interesting is a lot of people seem to like have no idea what it did. And that's they're like, I heard Magic Beans and I have no idea what it does.
House curve something.
Something about house curves, and it's
like,
supposed
what
to
is
make
a house curve
better, but how do I use it? Do I need anything else? Do I need multi-QX? Can I do it with, you know, there's a lot of questions. And so it helped me kind of clarify, you know, to myself and hopefully to you guys what it actually does. And so it's really actually very simple. It's a measurement method using your phone or a computer, using a U-Mic 1 or other calibrated mic, where you measure in various positions and measurements that you don't typically do, right? And that's the key. It's a measurement that certain types of measurements and certain methods of measurements that you don't typically do that helps us determine the correct target curve. That's really the secret of it, right? And it's not going to be a secret for very long. It's not going to, I mean, in a week or 2 weeks, it's not going to be a secret. Everybody will understand once they start to use it. Oh, I see. I get it. Right. But just know that typical calibration just doesn't do the correct measurements or enough measurements.
Yeah.
And so we're able to determine the actual target curve for your room, in which case you can plug that target curve into Dirac, let's say, and you'll just get a more natural sound because it's not a generic target curve. It's your target curve, right? And so it's pretty simple. You import it into Dirac as your target curve, and that's it. If you use Audyssey, then you would likely need multi-QX, and from multi-QX you would import the filters instead, not the target curve. You'd import the filters, and it would make the corrections to make your speakers sound as good as possible. And the interesting thing is we did some before and after measurements of the speaker itself, before and after we did the Magic Beans calibration, and the speaker actually measured flatter or more accurately or more similar to that JBL speaker.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what's interesting. So hopefully that kind of gives you a better idea. It makes your speakers more accurate, and it makes your speakers more accurate above the transition region. We figure out what the transition region should be. We equalize the bass so it sounds more natural and appropriate for your room and your main listening position. And it just integrates with your existing room calibration. So you don't have to really buy anything new. If you already have a U mic 1, you don't have to use REW, just the app by itself. And that's it. That's all I got. Woo. Stay tuned. Maybe a week or two, I'm going to start sending out the invites for Magic Beans for the beta testing, and we'll go from there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, everybody.
I'm ready to go in the after show.
We are about to head into the after show. Make sure you become a channel member to get access to the after show, and you get to hear about all the stuff we can't talk about on the live show.
Oh, real quick answer here. So Derek asked, will it work with ARC? I have not used ARC, and I don't know if they allow you to input PEQs, but we have different methods. So if you have to even draw out your own target curve, we give you various ways to do that. So even if you have only graphic EQ, 10 band, if you have 31 band, if you have some random device that we don't even know, we have a generic PEQ setting where it can, export, pretty much any combination of PEQs. If you have 3, like in the case of an SVS sub, we can export to that. If you have 20, we can export and give you enough filters for that. So it's pretty flexible. It just depends on what ARC can do.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. Everybody, make sure you go to, what is it called?
The after show.
Bit.ly.
Bit.l.
Whatever's on your screen, go there. And of course, did we talk about Anchor FM?
Yeah, I did earlier.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool. And then, of course, the merch is shop.dailyhifi.com. For those of you not going to the after show, for those of you watching the replay on the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe up, become a member, and come here during the main show and then get into the after show. On behalf of myself, Joe, and Mr. Tim, we'll see you guys next week.